My session today is going to be a little like speed dating because I think we don't have a whole lot of time. But let's just jump in. So I had a couple of, so we did do a survey with AWS about cloud adoption in the public sector and have some really interesting findings. Sometimes we know that we need to do things differently. We need new, better, different business practices. It's time for an upgrade. Well, as we all know, companies today are looking for new ways of doing business. Governments are no exception. Not that any of you have data centers or workers that look like that today. But to begin with, what we know is that the context in which governments are doing business is changing quickly. Citizens who have gotten used to interactions with responsive, digitally connected companies expect the same of everyone that they interact with today. Obviously, governments are no exception. So those demanding citizens are putting pressure on governments to change their customer experience, to better deliver their services. They want more. But governments have always been expected to do more with less. It's just that now they're expected to do things differently. They're expected to do things better and faster. So to begin with, they're expecting a better customer experience. And Ian talked about better understanding students in order to deliver better education services. Amanda talked about better understanding the patients and putting the patients at the center to better deliver healthcare services. Well, we're seeing that across all government organizations, understanding customers to better serve them and improve their experiences. This is an unemployment office who's focused on their youngest customers in order for their parents to concentrate on the task at hand. But obviously, not all services are delivered in person. So in a world where websites and mobile apps are increasingly the norm, developers need to rapidly test and learn. They need to prototype in order to improve their service delivery and, again, improve that customer experience. They're also focused not only on the front end, which those previous examples were about, they're focused on the back end as well, using data and analytics to derive insights that would help in decision making and ultimately automating some of the decision making in order to optimize operational processes. Using AI and machine learning to predict maintenance needs and prevent failure, as well as using it to avoid risks by detecting them before they happen. So to really get a better idea of, so we know that old ways won't open new doors. So all of these things that governments are looking to do require new business practices, new infrastructure. And AWS and Forrester teamed up to really understand how governments, how public sector organizations were using cloud. So we surveyed decision makers in 4 European countries. This study was specifically in Europe, UK, France, Germany, and Sweden, across all levels of governments, local, regional, national, and defense, and all sizes, so all different jurisdictions. And we asked questions about their challenges, their priorities, their investments, and then some of the results that they achieved from those investments. So let's just jump in. The first thing we asked was about their priorities. What kinds of things were they prioritizing over the next year? So as you can see, many of the number one was improving the customer experience, improving that experience of the citizen. 83% considered that to be a top or critical priority. The second one was IT infrastructure modernization. And the third was increasing their ability to deliver things quicker and faster. So business agility, speed to mission, which in short says to me, they recognize that they need to upgrade their IT infrastructure in order to accelerate their ability to deliver services to their citizens and improve that customer experience. So next we asked about, so those were the priorities. Next we asked about specific digital initiatives. What kinds of things were they doing? So as you can see, the top 3 are pretty much, they're front end. They're increasing, they're focusing on investing in mobile app development. They're focusing on consolidating multiple websites, integrating multiple websites. We heard someone talk about that this morning, where multiple websites delivered services. It depended, I think it was the Sainsbury's example, where depending on how you went into the Sainsbury's, you had a different experience altogether. So consolidating different websites and mobile enabling existing websites. But not only that, the next three are really about the back end. So we know they're focused on the back end as well. And these are really only the top 10. I also wanted to point out that 35% of our respondents said that they were investing in AI as well. But the next thing we wanted to know was how important is cloud to all of these different initiatives? AWS wanted to know that specifically. So we looked and we asked, and across the board, organizations told us, the decision makers that we were speaking to told us that cloud was very important to enabling these different initiatives. In the case of mobile app development, 33% told us that it was extremely important, and 41% said, doing my math quickly in my head, 41% told us that it was very important to being able to facilitate mobile app development. So cloud was very important to all of these different initiatives that they were undertaking. And that's a good thing because they're telling us that 49% in our survey have already implemented cloud computing in some capacity, and another 35% were planning to do that in the coming year. So the other question that we asked, which was really interesting, was what flavor of cloud? We know that there are different definitions. We've talked a lot about commercial cloud today, but people also, people think about hybrid cloud, people think about private cloud. And what was interesting here was we asked the question with two different snapshots. What are you doing today, and what are you anticipating doing in the future? And we asked specifically about deployment of applications. So where are applications deployed today? What percentage of them are deployed in the different environments? And what percentage do you expect them to, where do you expect them to be deployed next year, or within the next 2 years? So as you can see here, traditional on-prem infrastructure fell by 28%. So 28% of those fewer applications will be hosted on-prem in 2 years' time compared to now. All of the cloud options increased, but interestingly, the public cloud option increased more. So 33% more applications were going to be hosted on a cloud, a commercial cloud, a public cloud environment in 2 years' time than are currently deployed there today. However, we do know that IT challenges remain. We also asked specifically about what types of things were keeping these decision makers up at night. So privacy and security, not surprisingly, is number one. Like legacy applications and infrastructure, integration of new tools and technologies, and then quite a few of them around data, as we heard today from Ian and Amanda. Data is increasingly important to the way we deliver services and improve the customer experience, and we're seeing those challenges here as well. We asked specifically, so these are what you're saying are your challenges, what do they mean for your business? And these were interesting, not surprising, but challenges led specifically to perceptions of security vulnerabilities, wasted and inefficient use of funds. But one of the things that I thought was interesting was what jumped out at me was the delays to innovation and service rollout, poor decision making. So it's about security, it's about cost, but it's also about an inability to deliver on the mission, an inability to deliver those business results. To end on a positive note, we also asked them about the benefits of their cloud deployment. So what are their perceptions? What have they achieved by using cloud in these types of deployments? So 56%, and this is also an interesting one because it reflects the ability to deliver on the mission. 56% say that they have increased their speed to mission or their business agility. 51% also say that it's reduced cost. And then 48% improved innovation. So I think it's very interesting to see that while reduced cost is still there, those business benefits are also very present in the top three. So 56% of public sector decision makers perceive business agility or increased speed to mission as a business of commercial cloud deployments, followed, of course, by reduced cost. So what we've seen is new ways do open doors, and ways in which you can start We hear a lot about how cloud can reduce costs, but what we heard from some of the speakers earlier who were talking about their specific use of cloud is that it can also accelerate business benefits, time to mission. So consider those business benefits as well as cost. Identify use cases that require flexibility and agility. Chris talked about the UCAS example, which I thought was interesting. In the US, we often talk about tax season and the fact that on April 15th, everybody files their taxes. Well, we don't have a centralized university application system like UCAS, but that's a similar type of, oh my gosh, we need a significant amount of compute capacity at a particular time. So identify use cases that require flexibility and agility, obviously address concerns about security and cost, and download the opportunity snapshot. The full study is available for you to take a look at. Thank you.